All right, every year, thanks for staying with us, every year countries around the world celebrate World Blood Donor Day. The event serves to raise awareness of the need for safe blood and blood products and to thank voluntary unpaid blood donors for their life-saving gifts of blood. A blood service that gives patients access to safe blood and blood products in sufficient quantity is a key component of an effective health system. Now, the global theme for World Blood Donor Day changes each year in recognition of the selfless individuals who donate their blood for people unknown to them. So this is our heart goes to everyone. We're saying thank you to you for always, just the killings that happen in Owo. We saw a lot of Nigerians going to the hospitals to go and donate blood. So that you are donating blood, you're actually saving a life. So please do not stop, and keep on the good work. Who has donated blood here? Not a problem. Who has donated blood here?
I have.
Okay.
So I'm a universal donor.
Oh, I am also. See, that's why we
own eggs. Own eggs. So yeah. So I think from the time that I realized what it meant to be a universal donor,
yeah.
I give blood as often as I can. Unfortunately, it's not as easy in
here.
Lagos.
Yes.
It was a lot easier abroad, right? It was something that you could do periodically because you knew where the blood banks were. I think here we are more prone to, I know there are blood banks, so I know people buy blood, but we're more prone to when people, like family members or somebody needs blood, then people go and give blood. I think it's only once or so that we had a blood bank come to work. But I think it's just something that needs to be a lot more commonplace because people still sadly die whilst waiting for blood and all of that. So.
Absolutely. I'm also a universal donor, so for every time there's a call for me to give blood, I'm available. And that's why I don't have tattoos and all of those things,
Do tattoos?
Well, they say that,
there's a long
list of things you shouldn't have, when, you want to donate blood, and all of that. So
I think tattoos, if you've had certain things like TB, of course STDs and the common ones, but a few odd things that you wouldn't expect,
it should be
but they do.
More popular thing that happens here. So that, because most of the time when these cases occur and people find themselves in difficult situations where maybe family members are not in the right position or in the right location to actually donate blood, but they already have like a blood bank.
So the sad part about that blood bank, so when you go to the general hospital, for instance, to give birth to a child, they mandate your husband to donate, I think, a pint or 2 pints of blood to keep it there. So it is always, that's part of the prerequisite for you to give birth in the general hospital. But you see, the sad thing about it is that, now those things are supposed to be given to people for free. So we don't know if the people that need it are given for free or they have to now still pay for it. So Nigerians, it's just this integrity issue, and again, fetish. Everybody is juju somewhere. They want to go use my blood for something. So people are a bit skeptical when it comes to donation of blood, except maybe it is your family member and you need. If not, we should actually have, like you rightly said, blood banks. You just go and you just walk in and just give blood.
Once you meet up with the standards.
Absolutely. All right. So let's quickly run through our news. Norma, what did you find for us in the news?
Okay, so my news has that national electricity grid crashes from 3,703 megawatts to 9 megawatts. So the story goes that figures obtained this Monday from the Nigerian Electricity System Operator, an arm of the federal government's power transmission company, showed that the national electricity grid actually crashed from a peak of 3,703 megawatts to as low as 9 megawatts on Sunday. Nigeria witnessed widespread blackouts on Sunday after the national grid collapsed around 6:49 p.m. before engineers from the Transmission Company of Nigeria strived to ensure the recovery of the grid. So basically, we've been having these issues. I think this is about the 5th time that we're having this issue of national grid shutting down and people not having light. Various places in Enugu, Abuja, Kaduna, all of these places confirmed that the grid collapsed in various areas. I think this is something that the federal government needs to really look into, because if we do not put our acts together, electricity is a major aspect of of the resources that should be readily available. If we are going to have investments, if we're going to have people coming to partner with Nigeria and they do not have the means to handle their business because there's no light and I mean, this really tells bad on us as a nation. And if they do not handle it, it's going to really affect a lot of things, economy, whatever. It cuts across board. A lot of people are suffering. I mean, some of us are really, really suffering from the recent developments, the high tariffs and all of that. And not even having the light at all will make things even worse. So it's just something that the federal government needs to pay attention to as quickly as possible.
All right, NJ.
My story today is, okay, so recently every time I open the news, I see something about rape, and it's starting to become like a norm. Yeah, like it's almost normal. Like already this week, this is like the second story. So this story comes from Warri Delta. I think it's a private secondary school. So it's an English teacher in, the name of the school is Gabriela School. I don't know if I pronounced that well, but that's in Warri, in Delta State. And she, a 12-year-old JSS2 student got raped by her English teacher.
Oh, wow.
And it's not the first time. Apparently, he's been harassing and, making the passes at her. And at some point in time, he was able to get her alone. And not until her parents realized that something was wrong with her. After such an experience, there's always that reaction, and that's, So by the time they realized and they started asking questions, then the truth came out that this is not just now. So it's not a one-day thing. It's something that has been happening over time. And just a few weeks ago, there was also another story about a young man who raped his neighbor's niece, who was 14 years old, to death.
Oh, wow.
So I'm wondering what is happening in schools right now. Is it that we're getting to the point where we have to separate? We have to always make sure that male teachers are not left alone with female students, and female students are not left alone with female teachers, because the harassment is getting too much. It's bad enough that you have to send your kids to school wondering what they're learning, but to also know that they're not even safe in the hands of the people who you have trusted and you have paid to protect them. It's something that I don't know how the schools, whether public, federal government, private, can explain this, because you don't want to send... People are going to start homeschooling because it's becoming threatening to send your kids
even at
to
home
school.
they're not safe. I mean, there was a story I think I saw, was it last week, of a home lesson teacher. Yeah, a home lesson teacher that had sexual intercourse with his students. I think he was caught as well. So even at home they're not safe. It's just the situation is really bad, and I think again we are not really serious about dealing with rape. See, if a man knows that if you are caught and they castrate you immediately, or maybe you are hung, it will reduce, at least it will curb it. I don't know. I think the punishment is not severe enough, because you need to be able to just like the way people are so scared to take drugs to is it Malaysia now or is it Indonesia? Because that there's no explanation. Once they catch you, you are dying straight. They just hang you. So if we start to take rape like that, because it's a menace, if we take it like that, if you are caught, this is the situation, I am 100% sure that it will curb it, because now a lot of people get away with this, and that's why it continues to be prevalent.
We're in a land of impunity now.
Yeah,
I think that's just it, and it's not even just rape. Sadly,
it's everything. From
murder. I mean, there's no consequences. It's human nature.
Absolutely.
It will just continue to proliferate.
Absolutely.
And just to add, even the boys are not as safe.
They're not.
You can't even say, because now we have people.
No, that's why I said male and female. So you can't even leave any adult with the kids.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Sad. Yep.
My
headline says Nigeria needs 3.6 million metric tons of fish annually. So the federal government yesterday said Nigeria needs about 3.6 million metric tons to meet the annual demand for fish. Locally, we are only able to produce a third of that at 1.2 million. So 2.5 million thereabouts is currently subsidized via importation. So you can just imagine, in the face of our current FX realities, how much pressure fish alone puts on us. And it's not just fish. There's so many other things that we import. I know that the current administration has put shone a huge spotlight on agriculture, but really this is a small microcosm of that with aquaculture, and really the opportunities that exist there. To think that we're importing 2.5 metric tons of fish annually.
3.6.
No, 3.6 is the annual consumption, but we only produce a third of that. So the rest right now
is about 2.0.
is about 2.5 that we're currently importing. So it really just shows that even with a lot of, the story goes on to talk about a lot of projects that are happening in the ECOWAS region, all in looking to support that value chain of fisheries with about 15 member states. But for me, it was just important to point out that there are opportunities. I mean, just think about it. Food is still a huge thing. Absolutely. With 200 million people, but
Nigeria is ripe for a lot of things. I don't know. We just need the right set of people.
So if anybody is not sure what business to do.
No, but I know a woman that actually, this was like probably maybe 10 years ago or maybe 12 years ago when I met the son Asa. Then her turnover annually was 2 billion. And she was, she's just cold room. So 2 billion, this was, I think, about 12 or 14 years ago, because I think my son was barely like 2 or so. 2 billion,
just on fish.
Her turnover, just on fish. So it's a lot of money.
In this situation that we can, because we have rivers all around us.
So I mean, I think at this point,
because of the oil spillage,
no, this is not even going to be at this type of volume. It has to be farmed.
You have to be farming it. Have you not seen the videos?
Yeah.
Where there was a video I just saw recently where they were pumping the fish into they had groomed it in the ponds, and they release it into the. So you must farm your fish.
You have to farm it. So aquaculture as a whole.
How many things can you catch inside the water?
Aquaculture as a whole, at that volume, it just shows that
there's a huge market
across
the value chain.
Fish farms outside, but to think that it's easy to understand that we can't even the amount of that we consume. We can't meet it because it's not just fish. There are too many things. You'll be surprised.
Fish, metric
tons of fish.
So my story is a quick one. I'll just quickly mention. So for all you social media users, federal government orders Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and others to delete information that violates Nigerian laws and provide information on harmful accounts, troll groups, disinformation networks. So says the government has, let me just quickly say that the conditions, are stated in recent release. Some of the conditions include having a country representative, registering with the Corporate Affairs Commission as a legal entity, complying with tax obligation, deleting information that violates Nigerian laws, and provide information on harmful accounts, troll groups, disinformation networks. So they must be able to provide, if you are busy shouting at government, they will provide, that the social media platforms were also directed to provide a dedicated channel that is available at all times where an authorized government agency can lodge or forward a request or complaint against contents that are unlawful or harmful. Long story short, control your finger when you are typing because if they come for you,
tracking is the case.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back from the break, we want to discuss nepotism. Stay with us.